I know how everybody's doing. I'm gonna just do this video just to entertain myself. Some tips for this little reality, right? Now, like sometimes, like I don't know. I've told you, I'm just done with it. And I told you, like I had months where I was wearing those like ear pods and everything in the street, and now I don't even think I need them because it's just like just watching these little NPCs just running amok right now, especially right now, and just saying whatever. And at this point I know how to like quiet my mind and blank it out. So if they're like saying things to see me like thinking or repeating what they did, I just blank out my mind, so it's like nothing, and then they just look stupid. But anyways, and I know this sounds like weird, right? Remind me to talk about that movie that's coming out, with the disclosure thing, but we'll get to that later. But anyways, it was so funny today, two times, right? Because I'm doing my own stuff, focusing on my own stuff. It's to the point where, like, you know how I told you, like, those signals, especially in this area, in this Trumanville, where there's nobody who lives here practically, and how they try to, like, do, like, things or, like, send out signals when you're passing, right? So it was, like, funny because we were turning down the block and, like, I don't know, like, I think it was, like, the postman, and he was, like, loitering. You know what loitering means? And I've said this in other videos. This is, like, when they're just kinda, like, standing there, but they're not really kinda, like, doing anything. I don't look at them now directly because I can see them from my peripheral vision. I don't pay attention to the Sims like that. And when I say the Sims, remember, I'm talking sometimes about the NPCs because honestly, like I said, you have a lot of good people out there and they don't act parasitic and they don't act like NPCs. So keep that in mind. So as soon as like I get to a certain distance, right, he starts to like be active, and all of a sudden starts to like act like he's trying to walk so he can go walk kind of like in front of me. But because I know how this like little neighborhood is and I know where the Sims start to like try to sim or where they want to pull my attention, I know that he's trying to walk in front of me to like be a signal to when we get to a certain point so that they know up like from a like at what distance I am, because this is what they always do, or they play like, or they do some kind of noise or drill sound or weird stuff like when you're coming close to certain areas. And it's so funny because I could just see, like, I just knew that he was doing, and because I'm just so done with it, and I mean, it sounds funny. I don't do it in a way that looks crazy, okay? I do it in a fun way. So like, because I know like they keep doing the same thing, that's how you know they're like some kind of like computer program, like just kind of like not evolving, just doing the same thing. So because I know what he's doing, I make sure that since he's walking in front of me, I start doing that New York walk, start catching up to him, like at like walking like just start like, because he goes right in front of me, so I wasn't that far back, so I just start picking up the speed so that I pass him and I go in front of him. And then when I go in front of him, because he couldn't go in front of me, I hear like some kind of like drill sound like in the area or something like this, and then I see like people trying to like come out of court. Like, it's so funny. But anyways, just to get your attention and stuff like that, or like try to be keeping up with me. That's why, like I said, always try to do like random things where like you switch up your walk and stuff like that. And then if that doesn't work, then they'll do things where like you'll be like, you have to like pass down a street, and there'll be like Sims like loitering in front of like the area or something like this. And then sometimes like they'll just be like having like really loud conversations, and then like, mind you, we're in France, they'll try to speak in English, especially like in front of places like where you don't hear anyone speaking in English. Just like things to draw your attention, like, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's ridiculous. So I was remembering, that's one thing, right? So I was remembering when I was teaching online, one of the kids, and I was telling like, these kids, like something's going on with these kids because it's like they also know and da. And I remember like there was just one point, like one kid, like I liked him. He just was like very purposefully disruptive in the lesson, in the classes, but I did like him. I mean, I like kids who are like this. Normally in my situation, when I have kids that are a little bit like that, and sometimes they drive you crazy, but I don't know, at the end of the year they always go like, I love you, Miss Dahlia, and they and you know, after putting you through it. But like, I don't know, like, let's just say that the matrix has been ramped up. But the kid, I actually liked him, and I just remember I think he was like from like Louisiana, around that area, based on some things that he had said. So, you know, Louisiana, they're, I guess down there, they're used to seeing all sorts of stuff because, you know, that's very occultish down there or whatever. And the kid says to me, he's looking at me one day when I come in, he's like, are you real? He goes to me like, are you real? And I'm like, yeah, I'm real, of course. Like, and I even thought to myself for like a couple of days, like it never, I have not forgotten that he said that, put it that way, because it made me wonder. I'm like, the audacity. Like, am I real? Have you ever heard any kind of films or movies besides Black Mirror where people can see other people's thoughts and read minds and all this? Supposedly that's like not part of the real world, right? Yeah, all of these individuals have the ability to do that. So looking at me, asking me if I'm real. But then I thought about it and I was like, of course we know that a lot of souls have incarnated down here. And then you have human souls. Then they say that there's star seeds that are come to bring up the light on the planet. And you got the demonic ones obviously running around here. So we know that. But it's like, I guess part of the awakening experience is that like we've all been socialized the same way, except some of us have had more awareness that this is not a real reality. And then like it's like when we're starting to wake up, it's like we're starting to realize like who's different from who, or like you could do this and I can't do this. But like I don't know, but I always say like they for the most part, a lot of the other souls of this world, they have to know who are the ones that are more asleep. Like they have to know. They have to know because of the way things are done or whatever. So it's not like they're completely just like, oh, waking up and then they're realizing that we are different or something like this. Like they had to know to some degree. I just don't know how it goes, honestly, in terms of that respect, 100%. I just find it interesting because I keep having theories about like what they're doing with timelines, and we're going forward and maybe they try to pull us back and then we are like jumping forward again. And one of the ladies who I watch who does the Schumann Resonance, she started talking about the Disclosure movie. Like I didn't even know that movie was coming out like until she said that. So then afterwards, like I saw a couple of things about it where now everybody's this is making all of this fuss about disclosure and aliens and extraterrestrials and those on the other side of the ice wall, and how many folks are really incarnated down here, or how many soul types are really incarnated down here. It's just pretty fascinating. Besides that, we already know Dolores Cannon's theory of the percentage of souls that are here and all that. So I don't know. It's just very interesting because it's kind of like that. I feel like it's kind of like that. Like we're all waking up and then realizing like, oh, wait a minute, you're not like this, or oh, you can do this, or oh, like I don't know. It's just weird. It's just kind of weird. So let's see where that goes, because there are a lot of people right now talking about like this kind of thing that something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. They always say that, but let's see what's going on, because you do know that that's gonna be like the ultimate card, which is the play that they want to use about like alien invasion and aliens and aliens. That's going to be the next thing when they don't know what to do when people start waking up too fast, right? But and so my point is, I was like thinking to myself, like sometimes I'm like, am I the alien? Because everybody else is like doing other things, and I'm like, how are they doing that with their like? I'm like maybe like I'm like, I don't know, maybe I need to tone it down, because maybe we're all here like trying to figure it out what kind of souls we are, the star seeds and all this, and like I don't know. But no, I'm definitely not one of the demonic ones, put it that way. Okay, definitely I'm playing for Team Jesus. But I'm just saying, it's just weird, and I feel like all of that's coming because they can't hide anymore, and they can't hide themselves under the veil, and everybody's seeing things, and you're realizing like, okay, that there are people around here looking like me, talking like me, and they're something else. You know what I'm trying to say? Another thing that you have to also do in this reality, which is what I'm doing right now, because what, and I'm going to probably go into another video about this, is what I love is that when I do these videos, I know half of you guys don't watch probably all of them because they shadow ban. I would always encourage you to go on my wall and look up my videos, because you'll see like the really good ones, I only get like 34 views on them and stuff like that, especially if it's talking about love and unity and all sorts of stuff. But anyways, what you have to do sometimes is lure these little demonic things, these fiends out, because they will reflect to you what you are seeing in your reality and what you're talking about. And then just like drop it, like pull the rug from under them, go back to the real world and ignore them completely. And then it's like they don't know what to do because now you've just drawn them out and now they've done so many kooky things that make it look like it is a simulation. And then they don't know what to do afterwards because now you're playing real world and it just throws them off. Do things like that. Just do things like that. And that way you're going to see them easier.